Hi, welcome to Metepercept. Thanks for joining. My name is Challa Prabhu and I have decided to create a video series to help technical writers become familiar with Adobe FrameMaker. Today's session will be on flow, page layout, master pages and reference pages. So this module covers the following topics: Introduction to flow, page layout, master pages and reference page, understanding flow in Adobe FrameMaker, creating and managing flows, page layout in Adobe FrameMaker, creating and managing documents, master pages in Adobe FrameMaker, types of pages in FrameMaker, the body pages, master pages and reference pages. So body page contains the main content, master page controls the headers, footers and standard layout elements, and reference page stores reusable elements like graphics and variables. So for this session, I'll be using two applications such as Microsoft Office and Microsoft Word and Excel to bring you more clarity towards the subjects such as topics, a reusable element like graphics and variables, references and reference pages. So before I go to the types of pages in FrameMaker, I would like to tell you that body pages can contain contents in three types. One is you can copy and paste the content in the document, or you can type the content directly, or you can import the content from either Microsoft Word or Excel to create a document. So body pages contains that. Master pages controls header, footers and standard layout elements. Mostly what they say that master pages refers to online help, so that you have the breadcrumb, you have various other proxies, and you have navigation facility inside, and they're also only for online help. And there's other section called type of page which is called the page layout, which describes about the header, footer and standard layout elements. But since FrameMaker talks only about body pages, master pages, here the page layout is for page layout purposes. Reference pages are stored as reusable element like graphics and variable, which means if you are familiar with Metepercept Flow, we are talking about snippet. Here there are certain contents in the reference page where probably I would be preferring to use that particular resource, or FrameMaker can use that resources from the reference page. In either case, that it's a reusable component of a graphics and variables. So when you open a FrameMaker topic, there are two things that you might find. One is you will find certain data topics information below, like task title, or you may not find any topic type definition below. So let me open the application and show. If I come to the welcome screen and click on task, you will see that the document opens, and you'll also find that there is a task and title on the left hand side, which means it's a data topic. These are the minimum information that is part of the document. Similarly, if you come to welcome screen and click on some topic which is not a database, then you will get nothing. If you come here, it will show it is a task topic. If you come here, it will show nothing. So this is a very good indication for you to know what type of page you are actually working. Introduction to flow, page layout and master page. FrameMaker is designed for structured authoring and for large document management. Structured authoring and document formatting. High level overview of what they will learn in this module is you will learn how to create flow and how you create disconnected pages, and how the page flows are make meaningful in FrameMaker. For example, if you see this FrameMaker document, and on the below left you will see something called flow A normal. This basically, what does it say? That the FrameMaker contains frames and there are content inside the particular frame. So whenever the content exceeds more than one page, a new page is added to that particular page, creating a link to that particular page. Okay, so that means it's one single flow which is flowing to the second page. So it is one single frame that continues to the second page of the frame, but there is an inner link between these two frames which still makes a flow as one. It's one single flow. Unless and until the two frames are different and they are named as two different names, only then it will be called as a flow A or flow B. I'll tell you, I'll just give you a small illustration using a Microsoft Word document so that you will understand what is flow. In this particular, this is a Word document. So in this I've got some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 6 frames here. I'm telling the first one is called flow A because it forms one single frame. The second one is B, C, D, E, F, G. Now I already set the flow of this particular content. So I only have to demonstrate you telling how the content flows in this particular page. Not many in a technical writing use this particular features, but since it's a typographic software and many of the publishing industry might use this, there is the need for this particular type of a layout and format. I'll tell you how the content flows. Okay, now I'll have this content. This is a Microsoft Word document, I remember that. So I'll come here and then keep pasting. Okay, so you see that the content flows from one frame to the other frame. So this is called as flow. This is called as flow. So flow A, flow B, flow C are all considered to be the name of the particular frame. Okay, so this particular content has got multiple frames, each connected to each other. So that actually says that they are not disconnected frames, they are connected frames, and also specifies how the content has to flow. So you can just go and break the links. For example, if I want to break the link here for this, I can come to the shape and say I can just break the link. If I break the link, the content is gone. It doesn't go beyond that. Okay. But in case if I say I want the content to grow, then I go to create screen and come here and enter this. So this is a way you should have full control on this. I've not seen many of them using this particular flow, but neither they have really asked what is that flow A in FrameMaker. But in order to make it very clear, to demonstrate you that telling how the content actually flows between various frames, I wanted to demonstrate using the Microsoft Word document for you. So I'll be demonstrating flow using Microsoft Word. So this is a document from Microsoft Word. This feature and functionality has been there for quite a long time. The purpose of this is to help the typographic team to make content for newspapers and other publishers. So Microsoft also supports this flow. But what Microsoft, when you open this FrameMaker document, you see the flow A written below, normal. That means this particular frame, this particular page has got one single frame. I'll just click that frame and show you. Okay, you got the dotted lines on that. This is one single frame. And then when the content exits beyond the page 1, you will see an additional page added to this particular page, which means there's other frame is also added to it, and there is a connection between the first frame and the second frame. They are not connectionless, they are connected. So this is the same way it happens even in Microsoft Word and other documents, other leading editors. You have multiple number of pages, but they also have internally they have their links established between the previous page and the subsequent pages. So this is for your kind information. Let me show how the content flows here. If I come and paste here, you will see the content flowing inside the particular frame. Okay, this is possible in Microsoft Word, but many of them have not used it because they never probably felt the need for it to use this. But there's a very way of having this. But where do you actually come across such type of information is whenever you want to create a multilingual document. For example, you have two set of informations where one information is related to one language and other one is related to a different language. You can have the content flow in different frames, which means it is called flow A, flow B, flow C. So each frame is named as flow A, flow B, flow C. So when you go to FrameMaker and see flow A, you should be clear that you are working only on one frame. I'll show you how to create that also. So this is one thing. So what is called a disconnected sheet? See, if I come here and come to view, I come to format view and say that this is a disconnected text frame. So what does it mean? I don't want the content to move to the third, fourth, and fifth, sixth. So what I do is I come here and say you break the link for me, and all these are disconnected. So the flow is only in the first three columns. In case if I want the flow to continue thereafter, what I'll do is I'll come here, say create a link, and from here I'll just say okay, add the link for me. Now you see the content flowing across all this. See, it'll be easy for me to demonstrate this in Microsoft Office because most of them I have this application on the desktop. And my single request is please go deep into insight of every application because these applications are developed by leading vendor products. Therefore, you would not only get experience in working in the product, but also gain domain knowledge related to the product. Okay, there may be some features which I would probably see in Metepercept Flow and not in some other application. Sometimes I would see the best of the features in FrameMaker, but not in Metepercept. So technical writers need not have to conclude about the certain products. They are only supposed to do their task based on the potential of that particular application. And one more thing they say that FrameMaker can rotate a page in just by a click, whereas Microsoft Word has to create two sections and one orientation in order to make the landscape. That's fine. That's fine. This is a Microsoft Word document. Now here, if you see, there is a page. Now, if I want to make this page, if there are certain situations where I would like to have a landscape page in between, apart from this portrait page, I would naturally like to insert few page breaks, okay, and then I would again come back here and say that I'll come here, click, and I'll come to a layout, click on section breaks, and insert a section break next to it. The moment I insert a section break, now I can go and change the orientation to a landscape. Then again I'll come and insert the section break and go and say the landscape now is going to be a portrait. So if I just make this page small, you'll see that I have one portrait page, one landscape page, and one portrait page, which means I have to enter two section breaks and select different orientation for this. So that's true because see, so there are different way of implementing solutions for a given product. But for a technical item, it's not very much concerned because our purpose is solved because we need a landscape page. But let us see what the FrameMaker, how does FrameMaker do this? I'll reduce the size of this to 25 so that we'll get all this. Now I come here, right? Now I come here. Now FrameMaker says that if you just rotate it, the page will get into a landscape page. So I'll come here and see. Okay, see, I'll come and say rotate this to a counterclockwise or clockwise. When you do this, you see the page is turned. That's why the FrameMaker says that they can rotate the page in just by click rather than inserting two section breaks and one orientation. True, right? Now introduction to flow, page layout and master page. Now I just want to show how FrameMaker uses frames for the text to flow. I'll come to view. I'll go to master pages. Okay, then I'll increase this to 100. Now here I'm going to use this frame, place a text frame. So here when I use this text frame, see it says a flow tag as A. Okay, add. Now I'm going to use the same thing, copy, paste this, flow tag as B. That's it, add. So if you see here the first one, if you see when I clicked on the second frame, it gave me flow B. So as such, I can just go and give the name. I can just click on this frame and go to object properties. Okay, then I can say what I can give the text frame number, flow. What is the current number of this particular frame is B. Then I can say whether it is going to be auto connect, which means that the content will flow from one frame to the other frame. I also can specify the dimension of that particular frame. Fill, do you want any patterns? And you want it to be run around in the sense like if you have any content surrounding that particular frame, that content will run around with around the particular frame. That's what is those options here. So it's very easy, so you can understand that. So these are text frame properties, and now you can say, even if I come here and then copy this one more frame, I can very well change that particular object properties and show you what it is. That's why it is flow B. It's always better to name the particular frame. For example, for those people who have worked in Metepercept Flow earlier, for every page that you create in the page layout, you name it so that it is very easy for you to identify that particular page. So I want to show this. I just want to show this particular demonstration using Microsoft Excel for you, so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so here if here for example this Excel sheet, I just want to tell you that okay, you can create named frames. You can also give a name to the frame so that you can later on start reusing the frame. Here what I'm doing, for example, I just for a matter of a named definition and named frame, I'm trying to create a named definition for you. I'm just saying it is 1000 rupees, 1000 rupees minus 200 minus, it's 800, right? So which means that what I actually did now is I just went and said it's 1000 minus 200. So I physically went and gave and telling that you just take the 1000 rupees from column C row 13 minus the column D minus 13 is equal to in the E column, it is column E, row 13 is 800. So if I keep doing this every time, what would happen is it will be very difficult for me when I want to use this particular variable elsewhere, or if I want to use this 1000 rupees or somewhere. So what I do now, I come to 1000 here, I just name it. I define a name for it. I'll tell you why. Define name as telling the income. Okay, and this is going to be expense. Now this is going to be the computed value of that too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to just go and select any of the values. I'm just going to say income. So you see that particular thing below, minus. So what is this expense? See, it is showing me the expense here. This is 800. It's still the same. What I did is the same. What is the advantage of doing this? What is the advantage of doing this purpose is, now what it was local earlier when I use that particular value has become global now. Which means like if I keep on adding 100, if I keep on adding 20 worksheets in this particular workbook, but still if I come here and say that I want to say income minus expense is going to give me 80. So when I just ask that from where, so see that means that particular name definition has become a global thing. So you also have to use a name so that you know for what you are referencing to. Now if I am saying that 800 is here and tell this, it is telling me that it is coming from an Excel sheet. Now I want to see what is your reference. See, you might have noticed that any of the website that you go, if you see any HTTP address in the view source code in the browser, they are not absolute references, they are relative reference. Okay, so absolute reference means anyone will go and hack the website. Relative references is difficult to hack. So here if I come here and say what is this, double click it, it says it is coming from FrameMaker for OLE, from change sheet name, that is the sheet name, first sheet name, and see. So what happens if I go and change the sheet name to Metepercept.com? Because in most of the applications that you work for technical documentation, there is something called analysis. You go and see how many unused references are there, how to fix a link, how to fix a broken link. So here also we have to go and see does this application really solve this. Now I'm going to say Metepercept. Now let me go here and see what happened. Okay, now I come and see, at least come to the name definition, see what happens. Now here it says that this expense is from Metepercept and income is from Metepercept. and Meta 1, Meta 2 is also from Metepercept, because that particular sheet name has been changed. It is able to keep track of it, and then therefore what happens is your data is always has a lot of integrity. There is a lot of accuracy in the data that you store. So that's why I just wanted to bring this, because many times we say that that when you bring a document inside a FrameMaker, you have to bring the content as a copy, and when you want to use the graphics inside the particular FrameMaker, you have to bring it by reference. Why is it so? Because when you bring those references inside your FrameMaker document, the document size becomes very less, because only those references are there to the source location. And let me give you a small example. Suppose you have a graphics in your file, in the FrameMaker file, and that the graphics is created using Adobe Captivate. Now someone says that we need to modify that graphics because there is some change in the graphics. So what you do now, you just go and change the graphics in the Captivate, and automatically your source file gets updated. So it looks quite good. But is there any example that I can see? Yes. So we will go to an example for now. So this is an example I have. Assume that this particular graphics is created in Microsoft Excel, and I want to use this particular Excel in Microsoft Word, and someone says that okay, this document is there in this document is there in Word, but they say no, I don't want this graphics as a bar chart. I want the graphics to be in pie chart. So what do I do? What do I do then? I just come and just click on this. Go change the design, come to a change type. Now I say okay, they say that they wanted a pie chart. Now I do this now. Now what will happen if I go to my Word document? The Word document is changed. So this is a very good example of telling that your object are working through a reference. Okay, whenever you change something changes. If they say that we are going to change this again to some other different pie chart here, this is a column chart, or maybe I would like to have other bar chart this way, and come and say okay, it changes. So these are the way that you have to be, as a technical writer, should know how much of the things you need to reuse. FrameMaker has several ways by which you can reuse content. You also have a reference page where you also reuse content. I've got this Metepercept logo below, which I'm going to reuse in this particular FrameMaker document as a snippet using the reference page. So this I have given a very good analogy of Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word, because they are highly very potential applications where most of the things can be understood very well because of the analogy. So I can rectify that. Okay. So what is absolute reference and relative reference here? I told you, okay, if you have the graphics there somewhere, and then the graphics is updated automatically in the Word document, what happens? It works through reference. What happens in case if I'm not able to fix it? I tell some of my friends to just take care of the system. I'll come back. And what he does is he does something different. This value, which is 27880 here in Metepercept document, is the one which is used in the 27880 in this. So what will happen in case if I move that value one cell below in Microsoft Excel? Let me see what happens if I pull this down one cell below. You see it is not displayed in the Microsoft Word document, because that is called as absolute reference. So in case if something happens like that, you won't be able to see the document, but they do still exist in the document. So you have to bring that back to that position where that particular content was, then you can start working. I'm telling you, because you have to fix. Just creating content in any other tool is not important. You have to analyze and you have to resolve certain issues at the last minute when the changes come. So now I have to bring it back to the where I have just brought it one step above, right? Now let me go and see. Let us come back, right? So this is the way you have to work when you work on any document. This particular topic is very important, because it not only talks about flow, page layout and master pages, it gives you a full control of the document that you're actually using. So we saw the flow A body, how this particular frames have been named, so that you can easily identify which frame you are actually referring to. Okay, and now we are going to the next screen. Understanding flow in Adobe FrameMaker. That's what we did. We took the Word document and we saw how the content can be flowed across all the frames, how they can be disconnected, and how it can be flowed again. Again, it can be flown again, reflow again. Okay, what is flow? So in FrameMaker, a flow is a text container that determines how content is connected across pages, right? When I say across pages, when I showed you the document in Word, it was across frames. Here also it is frames in FrameMaker, but he is saying across pages because in case if there is only one frame and you have more content that is going to multiple pages, that means more number of frames will be introduced in that particular document and it will be connected across all pages. It helps in managing automatic pagination. Correct. If you say that that particular flow A is continuing for 10 pages, then there will be automatic pagination till 10 page. If there is any disconnected frames in between, then the pagination break and then the pagination will continue from the next other pages. It's all up to you how you are going to handle the pagination. The key concept of flow that we saw is main flow, if default text flow that connects across pages. We saw flow A in FrameMaker. Disconnected flow, a standalone text area that does not continue to the next page. Correct? I said, like, for example, if I have two orientation as a portrait and one I'm getting landscape and then later on I have portrait, I could probably tell that, okay, I don't need that page number for that particular landscape. I could disconnect it, or I could say, okay, it is better if you still have a page number for me and keep it as connected. Multiple flow used when creating multiple independent text flows. So I showed you in Microsoft Word that there are multiple frames with the different sizes. So what happens? There was multiple flow inside each and every frames. Okay. Now here we come next to the page layout in Adobe FrameMaker. What is page layout? Page layout defines arrangement of text and graphics on a page, right? So you know where you want to place a heading 1, heading 2, where you want the graphics, how do you want to place them, it's all up to you. It includes margins, columns, text frame and grid to maintain consistent formatting. So because the FrameMaker uses frames, okay, you can make it as a 3 column or 2 column. It is up to you. Okay, you can just click on that particular grid and you can highlight, you can go and specify the number of columns you want. The key page element is margins and columns. So in this diagram on the right, if you see page layout, I've got column layout. If I go and specify the number of columns I want, it is going to give me 3 columns, 10 columns, 5 columns. It has got a line layout, it has got a page size. I can go and specify the page size. What should be the left margin, right margin, top margin, and the margins below. Pagination, how I want the document to be paginated. So we also have, we'll come to the next one called master usage and new master usage as we go around, right? The second we call a text frame, containers that hold a text and a link to flows. Their text frames are like containers, okay? They hold the content that you keep inside. So therefore what happens, you can pull the handles of those frames any way you want, whether you want it to be horizontal, whether you want to be closer to each other, or you want to have multiple frames and then connect it to each other. Pagination control is manage the page breaks and numbering. So when you do a pagination and breaks, you know how that particular numbering need to be should flow. Okay, so you have the control on that particular pagination in this particular thing. It is under format, page layout. So this is the orientation landscape I said, where if I said in Word document I have to use 2 section breaks and 1 orientation. Here I can just rotate it with just 1 click. So demonstration, setting up a page layout. Now how do you do that? Because open view, master page to view the layout structure. Select format, page layout, column layout, and modify margin and padding from format to page layout, page size. So under the view, if you just go to master pages, you can just see the layout of the structure. Let me take you there. Okay, demonstration, setting up a page. So it's open view master pages to view the layout structure. Select format and page layout, column layout to adjust the column settings. and modify margins and paddings from format, page layout, page size. So these are the two important dialog box. One is under the view where you go and select the master page, and other one is like you go to the format and select the page layout. So where you can go to column layout, and you can also choose the other custom layouts. So let me just go to the master page. So I am in master page. So I can just right click on this and say object. I can just come to object properties. Remember object properties, they are also in the graphics. If you come to object properties, you can just go to number of columns as 3 and give all these details below, whether you want the text to flow automatically across all the 3 frames, then say OK and then fine. Okay. Now if you want, you can bring certain contents from your document. So now if you see that the content is coming inside with the 3 columns. Okay, so you're clear now, okay, how the PageMaker is able to handle 3 column text now. Next is master pages in Adobe FrameMaker. What are master pages? Master pages define the common layout elements like headers, footers, page numbers and background design. Changes made to a master page reflects across multiple body pages. Correct. So if I have, for example, I have a master page and I associate with the body page, then anything that I change in the master page will reflect across all the pages. So that's called it's like a template. Okay, we have the we have a frames, which is called as the template frame. So types of pages in FrameMaker, we are having body page that contains the main content, master page that controls the header, footers and standalone elements, and reference page that store reusable elements like graphics and variables. Now we'll see, we'll go to the FrameMaker. So here if you come to view, you will see a body page, master page and reference page. Click on master page, you keep overrides. So what does it say by overrides? That means in case if you have a style sheet, for example, you have a H1 style which is a factory setting, and then it is a font 18, color is red and everything fine. But then you want to also, but if you go and directly change that particular H1 style to blue without creating a copy of that H1 style, then it becomes an override. So as a best practice, it's necessary that you don't keep overrides in your document. Then what happens is it will just will cascade across all the styles in the document. So even if you have a H1 style, it is advisable or recommended that you go and create a H1 underscore whatever name, and then you go and set a new values to those fields to avoid overrides. Okay, so this is very important. So now you can also have multiple master pages. So for example, you can have one master page associated to page number 1. You can also have a different type of master pages applied to various other pages. For example, if I come to the master page, there's something called insert add a master page. So you can just go and give a name to it. So you create a master page and provide a name for it. I'll say here as what I'll say, training meta. Okay, I'll say fine. Now you have to say whether you want that to be on the right hand side or left hand side or what. Okay, now I say add. Now that is a master page which has been applied for this. Now when I come back to the when I come back to this particular page, I'll just come here and say page layout. Say what is the master page usage for this particular. What is the master page that I have to pay for it? I can come here and say payload is going to be which one I want. Like I want to use a Metepercept training meta. So I'll just go and give this and start using this particular master page for that particular page alone. So it's not necessary that you have to have a master page for all the pages. It's only one single master page. You can have multiple types of master pages for various types of pages within a document. So that's very important. Page. So what you do is you go to the view, master page, create a master page. Okay, that's by adding a master page here. You give a name to it. Then later on come to the body page. Now you have to apply for that, right? Then come to whichever page you want to apply. They come to view, format, then you are supposed to use a master usage here. And then choose which one you actually need, which master page you want to associate to that particular page. You can also come and create a master page here also. You can also still give a name for it and create a master page. Okay, so there are a lot of ways by which you can do. The only thing is I want those fundamentals to be very clear so that each and every application that a software technical writer uses in the documentation purposes has got its own potentials, and they're all leading vendor product which has given us a lot of knowledge for the last 2-3 decades. Now I am coming to the reference page. See, it's mostly said that whenever we talk about reference pages, the FrameMaker people get scared. The reason why they get scared is because they don't know how it actually works. But if I tell you the way it works, then you will feel that you should have learned, you should have known this before. But it also depends upon the type of version that you actually were using that time. Okay. So now I'm going to say you have to keep one thing in mind, that every frame that is used in the reference pages are named. So what do I mean by that? Remember that you have to know that whenever you are drawing a frame in body page, you go and select this and draw a bit. You won't get the name for kind information. You cannot give a named frame here. Named frame is applicable only in reference pages. So please note down and note them, because the reference page is such a way that, and as a documentation, as a technical writer, I would probably use the resources which are there in reference page, or else even FrameMaker can do the resources from the reference page. So it is for either of us. It is like a snippet. It is like a reusable component. If I use the word snippet, most of the people know snippet only and with reference to Metepercept Flow. Snippet is a reusable component. I'm going to show you how I'm going to use it. So I'll go to the reference page and insert the particular frame. I'll get to view, I'm going to reference page. Now if you see that when I choose a graphics frame and come inside and just put a box, you will get this particular dialog box called frame name. So all frames in the reference pages are named frames. Okay, I'll go and give something called trainer meta. So why I'm giving such a name is so that it will give you an inquisitive to know really what happens to the name that has been given to this particular frame. Okay, and also it will challenge me also. I said this, I said okay, now I need this particular image. Okay, can I just not copy this particular thing and then paste it here and stuff? Now if you see here, I've got this as a training meta here. Similarly, when I come here, I've got here as frame 1 here. What will happen if I come and, if I want to change this name, or if I want to say that hey, I want this name to be like, instead of training, I want this as Metepercept. I can just come here and change this as Metepercept. Now the next question is, how does it work now? How does it work in the document? So let me save this. Now I have to go to the paragraph designer in the book, in the body page. I'll come here. Okay, I'll come here. Now I'll go to paragraph designer. I'm going to give some style sheet for it. What style can I give this? I give something called meta. The Metepercept is already there. I'll give it like a trainer meta. Trainer meta. Then come here to basics. I see whether all these properties are correct. Come to font. If you have something else, if you have defined some boxes or things like that, that's fine. But I'm giving you how reference page works and why people get scared, because because they don't want to even think about it or even want to see it. But it is so easy that if you know snippet in Metepercept Flow or a snippet elsewhere, or you think about reusable content, it is very easy. So now here I've set the font. Just for the sake of it, I'll just put it as green and all the stuff. Now I'll come to advanced. Okay, so when I come to this, what happens now is that there is advanced is there. Now I want to come to now. You have Metepercept below, you have frame 1 below, you all have all that thing here, right? When I come to Metepercept here, and then say apply, you see that Metepercept is in the document now. So now, if you recollect the way I've done it, I created frame, and named frames only will work in reference pages. And you have to just go and create a frame, put the graphics inside. For example, why do you use this as, suppose I have a caution, note, tip in my document, where I want to have a symbol on the left of the sidebar. I could probably put this, apply it as a style, and then when I click on this, I would get a caution symbol on the left hand side and the text on the right hand side with a different color inside that particular content. All this could be done, but it may take some time, but it is for you to understand that it is possible, and the matter is, it is just possible only in paragraph designer under these three things. Say all this that you see here, footnote, double sign, single line, table, frame, are all defined here in your master pages. They are all there in the reference page. Footnote, table note, single line, double line, Metepercept. So if I come here, see the Metepercept, the frame is there. Okay, so these are all here. So in case if it doesn't work out, that means the way I have placed the graphics inside that particular box is not correct. Only thing you have to know here is, when you place a small image frame, you will get this particular dialog. You will never get this dialog elsewhere in the body page. So keep that in mind. Okay. So demonstration is creating and modifying master pages, which I did. I switched to my master page view, and I did a view master pages. I modified the header and footer section. Probably you can do that. Yeah, otherwise I'll show you. Because here you have seen that I have created I come to the master pages. I enter the name of the books. I gave a tab because there are two tab spots. I came here. I went to insert variable. I got a list of all these variables, available variables, and come here and said I want a current page. It gave me this. So it is asterisk, okay. Unless until I go to the body page, I won't be able to see the page number. So it is 1. So now you see all this happen. Okay. So we have completed the flow. We also completed how the named frame, why it is very important, and also I told you why the named frame name can be given only in reference page. I also seen how the reference page, how the snippet has been created in reference page and used in the document. And I also showed how the orientation helps. Also showed you in 3 columns or 4 columns how the text flows. Also showed you how the flow A that you see in the FrameMaker when you open it is visible and why is it so. Also covered about page layout. Also showed you the landscape page, and then thereafter almost a complete reference page. So the conclusion here is, Adobe FrameMaker is a powerful tool for technical writing, providing robust features for structured and unstructured content creation, mastering its functionality, and enables efficient content development and multi-channel publishing. That's the purpose of Adobe FrameMaker as such. But what is the summary and takeaways after this presentation for you? Is the flow that controls the text movement. Means you can decide how many frames does your content need to flow, or what should be those disconnected content flow in the particular frame. Page layout ensures structure formatting because you have the layout details in that particular page. Master page applies consistent design across the document. Okay, this comes to the end of the particular document. So for more information, contact training@metepercept.com. I hope you enjoyed this session. If you have any questions, feel free to mail to training@metepercept.com. And thank you so much.